So we're just taking a little, I wouldn't say a break from it, but we also need to remember we're doing English language arts. So I'm Mochian Language Arts, English A teacher, where I teach you grammar and, the language arts part of the syllabus, as well as the English literature part of the scheme of work for Form 2. Right, so today we're going to be reviewing subject-verb agreement. That is something that I know, I trust that you would know already, but we're going to go through some of the rules today, and I'm hoping that we can go through this within the time frame of the class. Okay, so we're going to go through about 5 rules today, and I want this session to be interactive. I don't want people to what's going on. What froze? Did my screen freeze?
Miss, that only happened in the Zeng, Miss. That's only Zeng, Miss.
Everything froze. The audio, the everything.
That's you, Zeng.
All right.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know if it was something that all of you were experiencing. All right. So today we're going to be looking at subject-verb agreement, as I mentioned before. Remember that I told you I want you to have your notebooks in front of you. I want you to have your all right, go quickly. Right, have your notebooks in front of you, have your text in front of you as well, which would be your Nancy and your English for All Book 2. So I want you to use your notebooks as well in this session today. Although I'll be posting the notes on the Google Classroom, I want to ensure that you're still participating in that way. Because today is going to be an interactive session, I would like those if not all of you, the majority of you to turn on your cameras and your mics as well, because I really would like to gauge that you are receiving and you're taking part in today's session.
Miss, my camera don't work on this laptop, Miss.
Okay, so those who have working cameras, good. I want to see you all. I want to have cameras on.
Miss, I can log in on my phone and show my face up.
All right, for the sake of the session, that's what I prefer. So let me see if I can share my screen with you. I need to hear that you all are, because I'll be putting that screen up. So you let me know if you see what I'm trying to share, okay? It's a Word document. Just a second. Oops. All right, so let me know if you all are seeing my screen, okay? No, my entire screen. All right, so you're seeing the screen with you're seeing my screen, right? Good. Let me see. So you're now seeing the word document?
Yes, miss.
Okay, good. So subject verb agreement. I would like you to head up in your books because it's an interactive session, as I said. And as we're looking at the rules and you see my examples, what I'm going to ask you to do for me today, I'll ask you to create your own examples as well to show and to share with us, for us to gauge that you understand these rules. Okay, because subject verb agreement, we need it in language arts. We need it to be able to speak properly. We need it to be able to form sentences properly, write properly, and you're going to need it throughout your English language and English literature experience at secondary school, as well as in every subject area. Don't you agree? Because when you have SBAs to write upon for other subjects, when you have your even if you're answering a question, you need to be able to have subject verb agreement. You have to have that skill to be able to produce proper sentences when you are writing and speaking. And this is for your entire life. So this you need to understand, and you need to ensure that you know these things properly. So I need you to pay attention, okay? Right, so the first rule that we have here, I have at the top a note that the verb must always agree with the subject in number and person, okay? The verb must always agree with the subject in number and person. Okay, so we're talking about the in number, we're talking about how many objects, how many people are we talking about as the subject, right? And then in person, we have first person, second person, third person, right? So for example, if I say I and I'm using the verb to be, I would not say I is or I are. And that person, the verb must agree with the first person pronoun, where that means I will say I am. Good. If let's say we're using third person, the third person pronoun that replaces the noun in a sentence. So he, she, it, they. What are you gonna say? He is, yes, or they are, not so. So you must know that the verb must always agree with the subject in number and person. All right, so let's look at the first rule here. The first rule, when a singular noun or pronoun is joined by and to another singular noun or pronoun, the verb must be, are we experiencing some problems? Are you all seeing the screen? Remember, I'm not seeing you because I'm sharing my screen, right? Good.
Yeah,
So when the singular, right, when the singular, so we have here a singular noun. I'm highlighting it. A singular noun or pronoun is joined by and. So let's use a different color highlighter. To another singular noun or pronoun. The verb must be plural. So we have here the verb must be plural. So let's think about it. Remember that I just said to you that the verb must agree, the verb must agree with the subject in terms of number and person. If we have a singular noun joined to another singular noun, we are increasing in terms of number. Therefore, the verb is plural. Do we understand that? I want you to unmute your mic now. I'm inviting anybody who doesn't understand that to let me know. Right? So it's and you'll see the equation here at the end.
Yes, can you re-explain for the last 2 minutes? My audio, video cut and my Zoom meeting crashed.
All right, just a second. Right. I said in the rules, okay? We're going through the rules of subject-verb agreement. And the first rule is the most simple rule. When a singular noun or pronoun is joined by an to another singular noun or pronoun, the verb in that sentence must be plural. And I explained to you, remember that I said in the note above that the verb must always agree with the subject in number and in person. Right? Remember I said that here? The verb must always agree, so I'm putting it in bold, with the subject in number and in person. And I also said that if we have one singular noun joined by an and joined by an to another singular noun, we are increasing in terms of number. Therefore, the verb in that sentence is going to be plural. So let's look at the example here. Right? In my example, we have singular oil, and so we have it joined by the conjunction. Remember what a conjunction is? It's a word that joins two things together in a sentence. So oil and water do not mix. So the verb there, do, is the plural form. And I want you to remember that with verbs, the S or the presence of ES or S at the end means that it is singular. So verbs and nouns are opposite in appearance in that way. Right? I think some of you, it might jog your memory back to your primary school days when your teacher taught you about subject and verb agreement and nouns and verbs plural and singular all together. Right? When you are increasing or saying that a noun is plural, and by plural we mean more than one, good? When you are saying that a noun is plural, you add an S or you add an ES. But when you are saying that a verb is plural, you take off the ES or you take off the S, but when it's singular, there's the ES or the S. So, for example, I just needed to remind you of that the form here in the sentence is plural. It is not singular, right? So we're seeing in my example that the singular noun oil and the singular noun water joined together by an. It's not like you're saying oil does become very harmful when it becomes hot. If you're talking about that singular verb alone, oil alone, right? You will use a singular verb. But oil, singular, joined by and to water, you will use the plural verb do. Right? So oil and water do not mix. And we're seeing the equation appear again for you to remember. Singular, I'm pointing with my finger. Singular noun and singular noun equals plural verb. So we're seeing here the plural verb is being used. Okay, anybody needs me to explain that particular rule again for them? Please unmute your mic now and let me know.
No, ma'am.
Okay, so everybody seems to understand. Now in front of you, as I indicated to you, that you should have your books, your notebooks, and your textbooks with you as well. I want you to write for me an example of subject-verb agreement showing that rule. So I want you to come up with a sentence that has the singular noun joined by an to another singular noun where the verb is plural. So you have about, let's say, 2 minutes to do that. It shouldn't be a lot. It's fairly simple, okay? So, gentlemen, just tell me something. What are you seeing on your screen? You are seeing the page, right? Somebody?
Yeah, miss.
You're not seeing me. Are you seeing me?
Yeah, miss, we seeing the screen there, and on the other side we're showing the people we seeing you, miss. We seeing the post.
Miss, can you say what you're supposed to do again, please?
Alright, let me come back for you all to see my face. And I want to see you all too. Right, so you all are seeing me. You're not seeing the screen anymore, but I can't see you all properly. Let me stop presenting for a minute. Okay, I'm saying to you, okay, that the examples that I have there, the rules that I have on that page that I just shared with you, I am asking you in your notebooks now to come up with your own example of that rule. So I'm going to share that screen, good? And I want you to come up with your own example. So you are going to write in your notebooks, okay? Subject-verb agreements, number 1. You are going to take down number 1 for me. You are going to copy down the example. So I'm modifying what I said that you have to do, right? I'm changing it up a bit. So you're going to take down the example for me. You are going to also write your own example now. So you're taking down the rule. You're taking down my example for number 1 only, number 1. And you're coming up with your own example that includes subject, singular subject. I'm sorry. Right. You're using singular subject joined by and to another singular noun. I'm saying subject, I'm sorry. So singular noun joined by and to singular noun and the plural verb. Good? I'm sorry, I made a little error there. I was a little distracted. So again, this is your task. In your notebooks in front of you, you are going to write for me the rules. Good? So you will write rule number 1. Then you are going to write what that rule is. You're going to write the example that I have there. And then you are going to write your own example, which we're going to share with the class. All right? So let's not make it tedious.